Joining me right now is somebody who is very keen on the connections between art, its power, and its ability to work as a catalyst for social change. Jonathan Shaka Mahone is a visionary storyteller who believes in the power of art and the importance of the artist as that community catalyst for social and cultural change. And not just that, also a catalyst for economic development, healing, planning, and collective conversation. Centering arts and culture as an essential tool for community building, for mutual aid, healing, conversation, advocacy, and resilience for more than 2 decades led Mahone to establish DAWA, Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action. This was back in 2019. Now, Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action is an Austin-based nonprofit organization that honors, celebrates, and empowers the essential work of BIPOC community frontliners, coming through direct financial support and culturally relevant, health-centered programming. This is key. Now, he is doing so much of this work so well that as the head of this organization, they have raised and distributed more than $425,000 to local activists, organizers, teachers, civic workers, and artists simply because there was a need. They are currently on track to give away more than $750,000 before the end of this year, and they are celebrating their 6th anniversary with a concert this month featuring none other than Killer Mike, which was highly successful. And their mission and mantra is giving to the givers. And it is a model of real success in Austin, and frankly serves as a model for a lot of us who are thinking about how we can use our resources to make this world a better place. It is such a pleasure to have you here, Jonathan. Welcome back to the show, or welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up? Please call me Shaka. It's most
Shaka, all
people
right,
know
we'll,
that.
we'll,
It's in
we'll
quotes, but yeah, that's how most people call me.
No, I appreciate it. I said welcome back to the show, like we've had you here before. Maybe that was
Hey,
prophetic. Maybe we just
that's
need to keep
it.
you in
We
rotation.
definitely connected. We definitely
Listen,
connected.
listen. I appreciate you and the work that you're doing. Talk to us about why your commitment to the arts manifested in this way. There are so many people who have decades in the artistic field. They've seen the struggles of other artists, but not all of them are motivated to think about how to structurally help the economy of a lot of the artists who are struggling out there. What was the difference for you? Why did you decide to do this work?
I think the difference is like this is my life. I think maybe some artists they're like performers or they're entertainers or something of that nature, but like I'm a part of a community. My work is a part of uplifting that community. My work is connected directly to that community. I'm not because I have a talent of making music or I'm also a visual artist. Like because I have a talent of painting a mural or doing these things, that does not disconnect me from the community that I'm a part of. So it just like goes hand in hand. And coming up in a community, me and my wife moved to Austin. We're a hip hop duo called Riders Against the Storm, and we moved to Austin
Mm,
15 years ago. Our name comes from a song by Sweet Honey in the Rock, which is Ella's song, and they talk
yes.
about passing the torch to the young who will run against the storm. So we chose Riders Against the Storm. So again, we're part of a legacy. We have a responsibility, and that's how I was raised. That's how my wife was raised. There's no disconnection from what we create and who we're creating for. This is not for fame or things of that nature. If it comes, then great. But at the end of the day, this is for our spirit. This is for our benefit. We wrote songs from the very beginning of time to decorate as a Basquiat said, decorate time, right?
Oof.
Art decorates place or space, and music and it decorates time. It gives us a place. It
Wow.
gives us meaning, right? And
Yeah.
so, like we come from that tradition. We just believe in that. And having community since we moved here 15 years ago, people that literally came to our home and filled our refrigerator groceries, people that literally said, just keep going. What do you need? We need you to keep doing what you're doing. This is important. It means something to us. It means something to our children. It means something to our family. Time and time again, people stepping up and just helping us when we were down. When we got to a place of sustainability, I was like, I just want to do more. I want to figure out how I can support those that were around me that were still struggling. We met a lot of people when we got here, and we're still friends with those people. And a good majority of them are still check to check. I mean, at the end of the day, most of us are all like if one bad situation away from
That's right.
being out in the street, right? So being in a more sustainable place and a more privileged place just prompted me to see what more I could do. So I basically
Mhm.
started in 2018, started giving $200 to friends. Once we had established ourselves, me and my wife, and we felt comfortable, more comfortable. I was just like, I'm gonna give $200 a month away to somebody in my community. And when that was gone, then I basically started doing like little GoFundMe's, like informal GoFundMe's to people. Like if I heard of someone in need or I met someone in need, and it was just based on spirit. I mean, there's a lot of need out here. There's a lot of suffering out here. So
Yeah.
it wasn't everybody that I encountered, but if it moved me in some type of way, and I didn't really know them that well, I would just say, hey, look, I got a community of people. I'm gonna outreach to them. I'm gonna raise some money for you. And I basically just texted people. I DM people. I said, hey, someone is in need. If you send me $5, I'm gonna send it to them. After like a week or two, I would send it to that person, and anybody that supported, I would just say, hey, I would send them a screenshot. This is what we did together. And so I
Wow.
did that for like a year. And basically, I was like, why am I doing this behind the scenes? Why don't I just bring this to the public? Why don't I let people know what I'm doing privately? So that was DAWA in its initial phase. I just said, look, me and my wife have also been doing a party here in Austin with a good friend, DJ Chorizo Funk. It's called Body Rock. It's been 15 years. We've been doing that party. We brought luminaries like DJ Jazzy Jeff and many others to be a part of that. And people know me for throwing parties amongst many other things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw a party every now and then. We're gonna call it "Healing Ain't a Luxury," and uh,
Mm.
any money that we raise through this party is going to go to this thing called the DAWA Fund. We were not a nonprofit at that time. I just said, hey, if you give, this is where it's going. After we pay the DJs and the artists and whoever else, any money that's left over, we're going to give to this fund. So, first party I threw right around my birthday. I invited like my family, my parents were there. It's celebrating my birthday, and it was a good time. And we raised $3,000, and the plan was to get to $10,000 and just give it away and not really formalize it into a nonprofit. But
Right.
the way the infrastructure and things are set up, we had a fiscal partner, and it just like slowed down our ability, like when money came in, to get
Mm-hmm.
it out. So we
Mm-hmm.
became a nonprofit in 2022. But the party was thrown in 2019. We had no idea that COVID was coming. We had no idea that George Floyd was coming
Wow.
at that time. This is September of 2019. So between March and June of 2020, just through people like sharing stuff on social media and things of that nature, we raised $50,000, and we gave our first forty
Wow.
thousand dollars away that June of 2020. And since then, we've given away $425,000. We're not. It's not going to be 725 by the end of the year. I don't know where that came from,
Hey, listen, that's what
but
your people sent us.
okay. Well, hey,
I'm gonna
hey, hey,
read
it's
them
all good. That's
information.
that's that's wishful thinking. We might hit it. We
Are
might
we
do
gonna
it.
speak it into existence?
But
You
we
never
are
know.
going to give it. It's going to be over 500,000 by the end of the year for sure. We're
Mm.
we're, we're pledging another $75,000 by the end of the year back into the community. So that'll be
Wow.
over 500,000. So that's pretty good work right there.
Well, you talk to the right audience, and maybe we could get you there. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I
I'm just
mean,
saying.
let's go. Let's go.
Now,
I
let's make
believe it.
it
I mean, maybe
happen.
that number came out for a reason. So let's just do it. Let's just make it happen.
So this idea and Dawa, I want to be clear. I also see here that it means something in Swahili,
Yeah.
medicine. So
It
you
means
all,
medicine.
so you're not just talking about art as a decorative thing. And going back to the quote you raised by Basquiat, painting time and decorating the space, yes, but also providing healing. And we know that music is a powerful healer, art is a powerful healer, and so linking those things together, I feel like that's a wonderful connection. And the idea that you've gone from wanting to do something, just doing good for people, because you had, as you said, what was your wife's name?
Key data.
Kidada. All right, so Kidada and Shaka, y'all doing good. You establish yourself. You move to Austin. You're artists. You're doing good work. You get to a position where, all right, we can afford to break off a little something for the people who are in need. That to me, as somebody who was raised in a black church, that feels like tithing. So at this point, you are tithing into your local artistic community because you had this set amount, you had a budget, you ran through the budget, and then began exploring other means. I'm pointing it out this way because I don't like just bringing people on this show to talk about what they're doing. I like to think about how what you're doing, because if you're here and I'm talking to you, it's because I think that what you're doing is dope. And I don't want people to know like how to take what dopeness is out in the world and replicate it in your own way. And you didn't start off with a $250,000 allocation. You said we got 200 on it. We got we
That's
got two.
it.
Like that's what
That's
we
it.
got. And so when you were reaching out to people, when you were first starting out reaching out to people to fundraise on behalf of other folks, after that the 200 fund a month pot ran down, what was the reaction to people? Because now we're in such a GoFundMe sort of phase, and it feels like every time somebody comes into a tragedy, there's a lot of GoFundMe, a lot of
Yeah,
crowdsourcing of support.
it's a lot.
How do you navigate that, and do people ever feel sort of tired of giving? Do you find that there's a resistance in some ways? What's that experience been like for y'all?
Well, I think the key in my situation is, and it might not be the same for other people, is the trust that we built through the community and
Mm,
what we're doing. So
mm,
people already knew me from day one to be this person. Whether I had money or not, I was always this person, right?
yeah.
And so they just had that trust built in. It's like, someone might call it a brand or whatever. But, I see Shaka, like, whether he had a dollar to his name or what, he's still that same person. He's still giving that same hug. He's still giving that same time and consideration. He's still, making time and doing things for others. Whether he had, whether it was money that he had or whether it was just his time or whatever. So that was a big part of it. Like, I think people hearing from me, they know it's not some game that I'm playing, right?
Right.
Because I've never been that type of person. I definitely like I'm a lighthearted, like fun, joyful type of person, but I'm also like I also take this work that I'm doing seriously. I also understand the power that it holds, and the people that run these global corporations also understand it very well, and they use it in an opposite way, in a very
Mm-hmm.
toxic way, in a very destructive way. So although we don't have that type of platform, we don't have that type of infrastructure, we still know that what we have has done some powerful things. Over
Yeah.
$425,000 in 6 years, and we're about to give it 500,000 away. So, what I want to encourage people to think about is investing in people like me. What that
Mm,
brings to the community, what it means to invest in an artist that takes his responsibility seriously.
wow.
Um, that's an important thing to look for and to think about how because these companies, they take advantage of artists with talent, and they shift them and make them think about other things. But when there is someone in your community that is has this type of drive and inspiration, you should fund that person. You should invest in that person.
Mm,
People talk about investing or things, but it's on us. It's really on us,
right.
and I think we have everything that we need. Before there was grants, it was just all people, and we only started getting grants in the last 2 years or so. Before
Mm,
that, it was community driven. Nobody was getting paid. We were doing it because it was necessary, and now we're building a model that is definitely effective and that will continue to grow, and we're excited about that. But our motto of giving to the givers is not just about people outside of our organization. I'm talking about myself too. I'm a giver. So when you give to someone like me, good things happen, and you and
mm,
you and you should resonate with that. I think there's a lot of like people just thinking about all the things that are going wrong, but there's a lot of good things going on. And when you give to people with good intentions, good things happen. And I just want to encourage people to look for those people, like Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. I want to encourage people to look for
right.
those folks and invest in them, and do it with the unconditional love. Do it with an unconditional
Mm,
spirit.
mm.
Don't put restrictions on it. Let them do what they're here to do. Let me do what I'm here to do, and good things will happen.
It's interesting that you say it that way because a lot of times in this society, which is one of the richest on the planet, possibly in the history of humanity, I don't know though, because I feel like they don't be counting Mansa Musa and everything that was happening in the continent of
Yeah,
Africa for
he was
millennia. So
definitely doing it.
he was doing it, doing it, doing it. Some might say he did too much, and that's what brought the enslavers and the
I
colonizers.
mean,
Because
look,
sometimes you cast your pearls
hindsight.
before spaces.
Hindsight.
It is 2020, very clarifying indeed. But when we think about the fact that this is a very wealthy nation, and it is a nation that has, I feel, a disproportionate number of people who are in great and sincere need. Somebody saying, I'm a giver and you should give to me because I'm going to give to other people. We don't often hear that. What we'll often hear is more of a, well, we are a 501c3 organization and we are determined to, here's our annual report and here's blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But that requires a level of formality that, frankly, a lot of our community does not have access to. And we sometimes shy away from the notion that, no, you should be a cheerful giver to those who have demonstrated the integrity and the transparency and the consistency in how they move. We should be proactively funding those people because if you
Yeah.
were to come on here and say, we have a corporate portfolio that looks like this, that, and the other, we have funded these, that, and the other projects, you would be well positioned to have some philanthropic organization say, oh, we're going to give you a $500,000 that you can go ahead and make that little budgeting rounding error a non thing. But when you're somebody who's like, Yeah, we just started our nonprofit. We got years of giving. We got years of investing in community. We have years of receipts and making sure that our people have what they needed. There's not the same sort of resonance. And so I'm finding that whether it's people like yourself or people who are doing nonprofit type work, even though they don't have a nonprofit structure, there is this phrase that says the people who are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. And the phrase
That's right.
contemplates that, frankly, if you didn't looked at the problem your whole life and experienced it, you know that problem better than anybody else. It's like I
That's
can't
right.
stand people trying to tell poor people how to budget. You think poor people don't know how to budget? Like they are master budgeters. But the phrase continues, those who are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution, but they are often kept furthest from the
Right.
resources.
And this is
And
just a
that's the
living. This
part
is
that
just a.
matters so much.
This is
Go
just
ahead.
a living representation of that. Like
Mm,
I'm living that. You're seeing it in real time. So just know that that's it's true, and it's true because that's what we do. We do that. We believe in that. The
yeah.
people that are out there that are going to be out there regardless. We had a winter storm in 2021. Our whole grid went down in Texas,
Yeah.
and the people that we supported, we raised $30,000 in a week, and we gave it out. The people that we supported were the people going and making sure that the elderly were okay, evacuating elderly people that were making sure people had
Wow.
water and things of that nature. And this is there are people in all of our communities that are like this, right?
Mm.
That when things get hard, they're gonna get harder, but it's gonna come from
And we
a
all know who those people are because it's the people we all go to when the shit goes crazy. We
right.
know who
And
they
so
are.
and so like those people are valuable. And so like if we invest in those people and we say, "Hey, look, I see
Mm,
you." Our saying is we see you, your heart is a blessing. We value your work is essential. We thank you, your light gives us courage. When we say that, when we say we see you, your work is not in vain. And we believe that investing in you is the best investment, that one of the best investments that we can make as a society and as a culture. That's going to resonate and ripples out because those people are going to do it regardless. But when they're poured into, it changes the game because a lot of times there's not that. A lot of people, because they're in survival mode or whatever, they're just taking what they can. It's not even a personal thing. It's just they need and they're gonna take. And if you're a giver, sometimes you can just be drained or exhausted, right? So the givers are ones in our society that need to be invested in the most because
mm.
they care the most, and they're going to be the ones, regardless of whether anyone's giving to them or not. They're going to make sure that other people are good. So we have mental health, all types of issues going on. These are the people that are not afraid to go and see check on people and make sure people are good. And a lot of times that could be a detriment to them on their own personal situation.
Right.
So we don't believe that that's the way to go. And we also do a lot of work here in Austin to help people. We do like free acupuncture and other things for givers to come in and restore and things like that because we want to also change that culture because we know things are on fire, right? But you can't just keep running with buckets, and just keep pouring, pouring, pouring. You gotta take your rest. The fire's been here since we've been born. It's gonna take some time, and you can't just pour from an empty cup. So, we believe that
Right.
this philosophy of giving to the givers is something that's transformational. We've seen it here time and time again. People that are play these roles in society and just seeing them grow with a small investment. This one great example of somebody. He didn't end up. He's a giver in Austin. He's a dancer, and he does a lot of his community to inspire his community through dance. He ended up getting a small grant from us, and he took that money and he decided he was going to start a landscaping business. He bought
Wow.
his first pizza. I believe it was a lawnmower, and I remember him coming to my house because I hired him to come in and mow my lawn, and he had like a little Hyundai. I don't know how he got the lawnmower into his trunk and pulled it out. It was like a magic trick, but he started a landscape business. Now he's got like 2 or 3 trucks. He's got people that he's hiring from that two
Mm.
hundred dollars that we gave him in it was like 2020. He was one of the first recipients of our DAWA fund. So
Wow.
and that's he's hiring people. This is the magic that goes on when you give unconditionally, when you give without restriction, and you just tell people we believe in you. Go forth and do what you're here to do.